Hello Fly Tyers, welcome to another episode of Aaron at the Fly Desk. Today we're going to tie a really cool looking fly called the bouncing beetle, and I've tied this fly with some sandwich foam. It's orange on top, black on the bottom. We got some cool wings, and then we got some small rubber legs to give it some movement as it's going across the water. So how we do this is we use these tools. They're called foam cutters, and I get these from a company out of Texas. I think it's called River Road Industries. Super cool stuff. But this is actually a hopper wing cutter. You can see it's just got some razor sharp metal. And so what we do is we're going to take some 6mm sandwich foam, and we're going to lay it. This is a rubber pad that you use to make sure you don't dull your razor blade cutters. So what I do is I'm gonna take this, and this foam cutter's for a size 12 hopper wing, and what I do is I'm gonna leave myself about 1/4 of an inch, and then I press down. What I mean by 1/4 of an inch is I'm not using the full length of this cutter. I'm just going all the way. That's about probably 3/4 of an inch long. And then I'll just get some scissors and pry it out. So there I have my body. Next step is I'm going to cut out my wings, and so this is called Spectra wing sheets. I get these from Yellowstone Fly Goods. This is the gray color. And I get another wing cutter out. This is caddis wings. So what I do is I'm just going to cut out a couple wings right here. Have it. So I'll put those over here. Okay, now the tricky part. So once I have my foam body, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get just basically a carpenter's knife, the razor blade. You can use just a razor blade. They make small craft knives. This is just the one that I always have on my desk. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut a slit about 1/16 of an inch deep. And I'm just going to go right in the middle of the foam. So you can see I have just a nice little slit right there. Okay, and then we're going to take you outside and tie this fly. Okay, now we're at our outside fly desk. It's a beautiful day here. Just got a little bit of rain, and so it's nice. Time to come outside and tie some flies, get some fresh air. So what I'm doing here is I'm just putting on some black thread. This is the 3/0 pre-wax monocord, and I'm going to come down quite a ways, just where that hook starts to bend. I'm going to cover this whole hook shank in thread. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to whip finish right here at the top. Just like so. Okay, our next step is I've taken the body, and I just get an extra fine tip Sharpie marker, and I segment the body with that on top. just in case this fly happens to land upside down, I want there to be some contrast there. Okay, so I'm going to take some just regular Loctite super glue, and I'm going to put it fairly liberally on this hook shank. And then I'm going to take my body and I'm going to lay it into that gap that we cut, and I'm going to squeeze. Spin it. Yep. So now that glue has stuck to the thread, and you can see if I twist that, that body's not going anywhere. Okay, so now we have our foam body attached. I'm going to take my bobbin and I'm going to go just back far enough to where I've got a good looking head, and I'm going to wrap loose first, and then I'm going to start tightening down. And create myself a little collar right there, like so. I'm going to cut the thread off. Alright, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put our wings on. So I'm just going to take the wings and I'm going to extend them out so they're going to look like they're open. If you look at a beetle when he opens, they kind of open from the side. Let's just take a little bit longer. There we go. That way you can kind of see how I like to do it. So my wings are open on top of the beetle. What that does is it also makes that cool silhouette that the fish is going to see on the bottom. Okay, next thing we're going to do is I'm just going to get some extra small round rubber. And I like the extra small because, small or extra small, because what happens is the smaller the diameter, the more wiggly it is. And I'm actually going to point those down a little bit. To the other side. So now you can see we have some cool legs on there and some good looking wings. Okay, you can either tie it off right here with that orange on top. It's actually pretty easy to see. I'm using 6mm foam, so it's also pretty thick. My eyesight isn't the greatest, so what I like to do is get just a little bit of poly yarn like that and put some white on it. For some reason I can see white better than any other color on top of the water. So I'm going to take my poly yarn. I'm just going to wrap enough in there in between those wings to where I've now got a big white gob on top of this fly, like so. What we'll do is we'll kind of trim that off. Okay, then we're going to whip finish, and then I'll show you how I trim my legs to make them a little more realistic. Okay, so when I trim my legs, what I like to do is trim my front ones a little shorter, and then I'll leave my back ones about the same length as the wings. It's a little shorter. So you have the bouncing beetle. Super awesome fly. Floats really high on the water. I use this a lot during the fall when hoppers are out. Fish tend to be looking up. What I found is when they're finicky on grasshoppers, sometimes I'll throw on one of these little beetles and they'll grab it. They love the silhouette. It's black. It's easy to see for them, silhouette on top of the water. So there you have it, my friends. The bouncing beetle. Thank you for watching this episode of Aaron at the Fly Desk.